Hello everyone, welcome to ITLS Academy. We are going to discuss general informations of microbial diagnostic techniques. So we are going to start with general informations. The microbiology laboratory is considered to be vital and they take the great amount of the general workload of the laboratory. Receiving and recording specimens, culturing, staining, isolation and identification of pathogens and doing sensitivity tests for the isolated pathogens are the major tasks. Here comes a question: who can request laboratory services? So, the answer is point 1: all licensed physicians, dentists and optometrists, all public health nurses and physician assistants, local health departments and communicable disease specialists. These can request a laboratory services. Reports shall be given only to the submitter, or we can say that private individuals will not receive reports. Here are some informations for microbiology laboratory staff. We will study some points which are important for microbiology laboratory staff. So first is general requirements for collecting and submitting specimens. As we know that before any test, sample is collected and after that submission of specimen occurs. After that, the submitted specimen got engaged in test and results are given. So, general requirements are: number 1, proper collection and adequate amounts of specimens are required. The following criteria should be used as guidelines. And the point is, medical group employees who handle laboratory specimens have relatively high rates of work-related hepatitis and other transmittable disease. And the next one is, when needed, a written test request must include the following information: loosely capped containers and soiled requisitions sent to the laboratory are a significant risk to all who come in direct contact with these contaminated materials or areas contaminated by such materials. So, let's see which of the following test requests must include what details. First one is patient detail, hospital number, name, including first name and family name, sex, date of birth and age, address, social security number, that is insurance, for females whether pregnant or lactating, details of illness, presenting signs or symptoms, duration or date of onset, recent travel history and immunizations. These are some informations that a written test request must include. Now come to the point, that is identification of specimens. Identification of specimens include type of specimen, that is exact source and nature of specimen. Both of these things, that is source and nature of the specimen, must be mentioned. Next one is collection date and time. These should also be mentioned in the identification of specimen. Next one is laboratory number, laboratory findings, test requested and ordering physicians. Also, all specimens must be properly labeled with the patient's full name, date and time of collection and specimen source. Here some types of specimens are given. First is swab specimen. Separate specimens must be submitted for each specific request. Single specimen cannot be used for every request, so here must be separate specimens for every request. We can say that one for bacterial culture and one for fungal culture, etc. Next one is special culture or specimen requirements. Here anaerobic specimen submit in anaerobic transport containers or in a sealed syringe with no bubbles. Here comes the specimen collection. The point is proper specimen collection, container labeling and culture request are the responsibility of the ordering physicians. Technologists in the clinical microbiology laboratory will be familiar with specimens of choice and proper collection techniques. The technologist in the laboratory will directly handle specimens of clinical and environmental source which are received from the postal service or hand carried to the laboratory. Now come to the specimen handling and storage. These are the most important points in the any culture or any sample collection process. First point is specimen containers and requisitions will be delivered to the Clinical Microbiology Central Processing Area, or in short CPA, within the specified period depending on the specimen source and type of collection. Upon receipt, the CPA or Central Processing Area staff will check a requisition for completeness. Specimens will be stored properly until they are picked up by the microbiology staff. Next point in specimen handling and storage is the CPA or Central Processing Area staff will assign numbers for the specimens and indicate them on the original requisition. When state requests are received, the CPA staff will immediately notify the microbiology supervisor and arrange for the immediate delivery of the specimen. Now the sample is collected, properly stored, and next point comes is specimen delivery. Let's see. First point is in specimen delivery, the clinical microbiology laboratory recommends that a specimen should be transported to the laboratory as soon as possible. This is the main point of specimen delivery, that it should be transported to the laboratory as soon as possible. Here a maximum delay is indicated for each type of specimen. If more than one specimen is received for one type of analysis, the processing area staff will note on the requisition duplicate specimen in red ink. So we can say that if more than one specimen received for a same type of analysis, then there must be written duplicate specimen on that particular sample. Next point is actively growing cultures of organism for identification should be submitted on tube media appropriate for the organism being submitted. Seal the tube with waterproof tape. All specimen containers should be closed tightly or sealed in order to prevent leakage and contamination. Media in petri dishes or liquid cultures are not an acceptable transport media. After the delivery of a specimen, here comes labeling or logbook. The point is, upon receiving the specimen and requisition with complete data, record it in the microbiology logbook in numeral order. The number assigned to the specimen is written on the specimen container and the requisition form. Culture media containers and culture media plates. Here are some specimen rejection criteria. Not all time all specimens are accepted. Sometimes specimens get rejected. So we will see some specimen rejection criteria. First one is general issues. In general, specimens for the microbiology laboratory are unacceptable if any of the following conditions apply. The first condition is the information on the label doesn't match the information on the request form. Next is the specimen was transported in an improper container or at wrong temperature. Next point is the quantity of the specimen is insufficient to carry out all the required examination, and the last is leaking specimens. These are some conditions in which conditions a specimen cannot be accepted. So we can say that informations on the label must be properly written and a specimen must be transported in a proper container and at a proper or optimum temperature. The quantity of the specimen must also be sufficient to carry out the required examinations, and a specimen must not be leaking. In addition, date and time of processing and name of the patient should be written clearly on all culture plates, tubes, slides, or whatever used in the processing of the specimen. So here comes the bacteriology. Point 1 is blood received in blood culture bottles is unsuitable for fungal isolation. Next point is saliva is unacceptable for culture. Submit deep cough or induced sputum. And the third point is multiple urine, stool, sputum or routine throat specimens sent on the same day from the same source from the same patient. Here some reporting of microbiological results. We can say that every effort should be made to contact the physician or unit if a specimen is rejected. The physician will be informed about the reason for specimen rejection and reporting will be done. So, let's see the reporting of microbiology results. First point is CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid, body fluids, blood and wounds. Positive gram stains upon preliminary examination will be reported to the physician. Identification of an organism isolated will be performed on all aerobic organisms as appropriate. Next one is air. In air, potential pathogens, that is Streptococcus aureus, gram-negative organisms will be identified and antimicrobial sensitivities performed. Next one is eye. In the case of eye, report identification or any organism isolated. Sensitivities as appropriate. Next one is gastrointestinal tract or GIT. In the case of GIT, routine screen for Salmonella, Shigella and special cultures for Campylobacter, Vibrio and E. coli. The lab will report Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus aureus. The lab Proteus will be reported on the pediatric patients. Negative cultures will be reported as no enteric pathogens isolated. Next one is lower respiratory tract or aspirates. Report any pathogenic organism isolated. Physician must specify if a culture is to be screened for other than group A Staphylococcus aureus. Positive Streptococcus list is provided daily to primary care and emergency room for immediate follow-up. Next one is throat cultures. Routinely screened for group A Streptococcus reported as positive for beta hemolytic streptococcus group A or negative for group A streptophyte. Next one is urine. Report identification and antimicrobial sensitivities on colony counts greater than 10,000. Female urine will be screened for Streptococcus saprophyticus. Susceptibility testing will not be performed on the streptococci other than enterococci, Corynebacterium species or Lactobacillus. Now come a reporting of susceptibility testing results. First point is after initial identification and susceptibility testing will be, here something is missing, I guess. I will inform in next slide. Maybe it is continued from here. So the sentence will be after initial identification and susceptibility testing will be performed every 4 to 5 days on biotypically identical organisms isolated from the same patient from the same site. Cultures will be held 48 hours should the clinician feel that repeat susceptibility testing is indicated. Here some lines are missing, some lines are disturbed. I am telling you that this line will continue from here, this from here, and this from here, and this is our proper sentence. Next, reporting of TB or mycology results. All acid-fast and fungal organisms isolated will be reported. So thank you very much guys for watching this session. These were some general informations. We will continue with our urine culture test. So thank you very much. Follow ITLS Academy on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp and on LinkedIn. You can subscribe ITLS Academy on YouTube and you can also get it on Google Play Store. Thank you very much again for watching this session. You can like, share and subscribe this video and subscribe this channel. For any help or query, you can call 7080-833-450 or you can visit www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you very much again.